Hi everyone, it's Frith here again. It's my 10th vlog of the LHP series, and again, huge topic today, probably the most important vlog I'm going to make, but this is not a vlog for everyone. And so if ETs, extraterrestrials, are not in your worldview, this probably won't make a lot of sense. It will probably sound crazy, but listen along, who knows, you might learn something. This is for the members of the disclosure community, and it's a pretty serious topic I want to talk about today. And right, let me just get back to my notes. Right. What I'd like to do today is add a narrative to the whole ET narratives that are already out there in the mainstream, in our community, in the movement, the disclosure movement. And the main ones are that, we all know there's an ET presence on Earth at the moment, has been forever, but that there are good ETs that are going to come down here at a certain point, once there are enough people with the free will to want it, to come and help us. That's the main narrative. Okay, now I'm going to introduce a different angle on this. But first, let's start with something all of us pretty much agree on. That is that there is a control structure that's running the world out of the shadows. Lots of names for them, like the deep state, the Illuminati, the elite, the 1%. There's loads. Okay, we all know that this control structure exists. What's at the top of this control structure is the Illuminati, the 13 bloodlines. And they are the most common, the ones we know most are the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. And they're actually a hybrid race called the Homo capensis. And they have sort of slightly elongated skulls. And they're the result of a DNA splicing between the Anunnaki and humans. And if you go and check out the Rothschild skulls, and also in the Papal Palace, there's a reason they wear mitras. And we can agree that this group are pretty damn evil, okay? But who's above them? All right, let's talk about who's actually running this planet, because they're just the gophers, actually, of a whole ET alliance. And that's who I'm going to spend a bit of time just talking about, this alliance and who they are. The top of the ones, the big boy, the big boss is the Anunnaki, and they've been around since the beginning. Well, not really. They came across us. They're from their inhabited planet called Nibiru, and there was a supernova that shot them off their course, and they sort of came into our solar system and came across Earth, and that's how we came into their awareness. And they were a physical presence on Earth at one time. They were also known as the Nephilim. They're very big in stature. In fact, if you go and Google, you can just giant skeletons, you can see that these have been uncovered. Anyway, at a certain point in our history, they left the planet, but they're still very much in charge. And the big dude, main man, is called Anu, and he has 3 offspring called Enki, Enlil, and a daughter called Ninmah. And I don't really want to go into too much detail, but their main characteristic, the main thing about them is that these beings are psychic. They're a very, very advanced race. They can, the technology is just inconceivable to us, but they also have the ability to be psychic, to speak into our consciousness, etc. Their gophers, the ones under them, are the reptilians. And the reptilians come from the constellation Draco, and they're present on our planet in the very high positions of power, like at the top of corporations, where they can cause the most chaos. And their most defining characteristic is that they are able to recode their DNA so that their physical expression can change. So how we perceive them, because don't forget, everything is just energy. So they shift their DNA, which switches the energetic field, and we perceive them as whatever they want to be perceived as. and so it's also called shape-shifting. This is what they do. Pretty nasty bunch, this lot. Then a fourth group in this negative ET alliance is, this might shake a few feathers here, is called the Nordics. Because of their appearance, they look very much like humans, this sort of blonde-haired, blue-eye type, and they've been working away with the deep state. There are even photos of them around if you look hard enough. They're actually also known as the Arcturians because they come from a region of the galaxy called Arctura in the Boots constellation, I believe. And the Arcturians, I call them in the Get Wisdom, we call them the Arcturians. Oh, by the way, where do I get all this information? From multiple sources, but the biggest one is from the archives of Get Wisdom. If you go onto Get Wisdom and you put in the search words, whatever I've talked about, you can find information about that. There's also Zachariah Sitchin, although 90% accurate, 10% misinformation. William Tompkinson. I've gathered and gained this information over many, many years. This is one of my main topics, and so this is how I know what I'm telling you. Right, the Arcturians, they created the greys, the grey aliens, the little 5-foot ones that everybody's most familiar with. It's in our imagery all over the world. And they are humanoid, they are soulless robots. They are, and they are the sort of gophers of the Arcturians. They're the slaves. They sort of do whatever the Arcturians want them to do. They're the ones who do the abductions of the humans, and they actually have their own agenda. The Greys, because they kind of want to be like humans. They want to be able to reincarnate, to come back, because they don't have a soul. So when they die, they're gone, you know. And they know that we have this thing, and they think it's got something to do with our technology, whereas they don't get the concept of souls. In fact, all four of these races, the Anunnaki, the Reptilians, the Arcturians or Nordics, and the Greys, they're atheists. They don't believe that there is a God or a divine realm or a divine source. They've very much fallen over those long, it's a very big topic. But but they know that the humans, many of us believe in God, so they kind of play into that, you know. Anyway, right, there is so much misinformation out there within the disclosure movement, more than the misinformation that's in the sort of truther movement, or in you know, trying to get the awareness to everyone out there that there's this control structure. It's just phenomenal how much misinformation there is in the disclosure community. And you know, I know that this is also going to step on a few toes, but you know, I'm just going to say it. Lots of people channel the Nordics, or the Pleiadians, or the Syrians, or the Lyrians, or their higher selves, and all of this. And what the Anunnaki do is they step in when people make an outreach. A lot of the time, okay, not all of the time, but a lot of the time, they step in and they start feeding this channeler. Please go back to vlog 5 and look at something called the Savior Programming. They start feeding them information that then gets filtered out into the disclosure community. And one of the narratives is that at a certain point, good ETs are going to come down and save us. And I'm afraid it's just not true. Because what's the plan? Everything that's going on in our world right now is kind of a result of them. I mean, the chaos is increasing. I don't know if you've noticed. These fires that were started, they were not directed energy weapons. They were ETs. I'm sorry, guys. This is a lot of hardcore information, okay? We're pretty much under attack right now. And the reason is to get us to such a point of chaos that we're all going to beg to be saved from the people who are doing it to us. So the plan is to send the Nordics down because they look like us, and sort of, you know, the Trojan horse thing. And if we, with our free will, because the divine realm cannot step in and say, right, we're going to not allow this to happen, because if we collectively, our free will, allows this to happen, it will happen. And I'm afraid, guys, it's curtains. The game is over, okay? It's something like Agenda 21, or 2030 as it's called now, and then some, okay? If we allow this to happen, and disclosure people, we're the linchpin, we're carrying this narrative, we have to change it. Our lives depend on it. So also consider this. The good ETs, and there are a lot of them, and they are the Palladians, Assyrians, Illyrians, and various others. They would never infringe on our free will to learn, because we are going through a massive learning curve here. We're waking up, and we just are so vulnerable. But we have to figure this out. They are not allowed by the rules of the universe to come in and save us. It's just not going to happen. So if anybody comes down here, they do not have our best interests at heart. I can guarantee you that, okay? It's just not the way the universe works. We have to learn this lesson, humanity. This is our second time around. We've already been wiped off the face of this earth before, back in Atlantis times, and we were reseeded again by the divine will to give us another chance at this. This is it. This is it. We have to, and what is the lesson we have to learn, is to regain our sovereignty, to take back our planet, to learn to rule ourselves again. We have been subjugated for so long. It's time to grow up. We really have to get this, because we've got a very short window, okay? All right, so because of the chaos and what they've done to us over all of the thousands of years, is has created crazy karma. The karma is mental out there. I mean, once you start looking into this, it's overwhelming. We have to start healing. That is our number one priority. Turn off the television, turn off alternative media. It's also a distraction. Everything that keeps you from healing each other is a distraction. Stop following those narratives. In the mainstream, even in alternative media, it's just, we really need to get going now, guys. Refocus. Understand what's at stake here. Understand that the trick of all times is on its way, and if we don't understand that, that's it. So it's time to heal as well, because by healing we ascend. We move out of this realm in which they inhabit. They're always going to be around us until we get out of here. So this is what we've got to do. Okay, it's 13 minutes. Sorry if this is a really serious one, but it is a very, very serious topic. Like I said, this is probably the most important vlog I'm going to make, and I've also done it at risking a large percentage of the followers that I now have, because, you know, there's other people who are following this, and this is pretty freaky, dicky subject. So, but it's a calculated risk because it's that important. So, I'm going to leave it at this. If you're in the disclosure community and this resonates with you, what I've just said, please share it. Share it, share it, share it. We need to get this narrative out there now. It's time. And thank you for watching. And have a lovely day. Sorry, what a crazy world we live in. Huh? Again, I'm going to finish off by asking Source Creator to, you know, this is probably the most support I need, not only just because of the fallout of this possible video, but that this message gets out there. It's so important. Please speed this message to everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.